Welcome to ETHDam, to ETHDam, to ETHDam, to ETHDam, to ETHDam.
Right, today is day 2 for ETHDam, and I'm telling you this so you can go tell everyone else. The key thing is this morning we have a bunch of cool content, obviously about privacy. I'm really looking forward to the next one on privacy as an ecosystem from PG here, because ultimately it's the ecosystems that are being built that allows everyone to actually find, discover, and use all of the different technologies. Later on, this morning, we're going to try and get everyone together in the room to try and do a check-in with all the hackers, see how we can help. TBD on how that's going to happen. We still got to figure it out. And then this afternoon, we have a lot of the political stuff that's happening, and a lot of a Dutch politician coming in to speak about crypto. So it's going to be an interesting afternoon, to say the least. And then tomorrow morning, we also have all the regulatory stuff as well, and the hackathon presentations, which will be really fun. Really looking forward to the rest of the day, but enough from me. I'm just going to hand it over to PG, right, who is going to share privacy as an ecosystem. Please give a round of applause.
Trial. Hey, yes. Yay. Hello, everyone. I'm here today to share with you some of the understanding that was both as an individual and as part of different organizations in Web3 and beyond, committed to protect freedom in the digital age, we realized how much a lot of the efforts to restrain authoritarianism, surveillance capitalism, and a lot of bad threats that we are facing as a society are scattered among a lot of different communities, bubble, people, perspectives, opinions. And unless we are going to bundle up and coming together and understand each other, we are not going to make it. Long story short, my talk has ended here. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow. This is the reason why I got into crypto 10 years ago, and the reason why I'm still here, to tackle down abuses of power and opaque resource management. This is how I got into crypto, in a very tiny nutshell. I was very curious into understanding how and why all these hypocrisies that our society, our world, continue to, show up in through different institutions, power dynamics. And it was a very linear, natural process of investigation through financial systems, power dynamics, economics, history, philosophy, and I found crypto for this reason. Okay, this is not working apparently. Fantastic. Over the last 10 years, it was showing basically the cypherpunks and some on the left, and on the right some Lambo, and numbers go up. And basically, what I wanted to say here is that from this initial ethos of crypto, we drifted away from this initial purpose and for the reason why crypto has been developed in the first place from the 80s onwards. And this is mainly because I think, especially in the last 10 years, if crypto became synonymous of numbers go up, is because of a lot of attention came into this space without education, and we also brought in a lot of people basically putting at the center of the attention these numbers go up image of what we were doing. And both because actually VCs brought massive capital into the space, which centralized influence and also projected this move fast, exit faster mindset. And so project basically started optimizing for valuation over decentralization, privacy, or resilience. In the last 2 years, we have seen in the space that a lot of industry pioneers and also everyday users started manifesting this sadness and disillusionment because of that. Quite a lot. And the good news is that slowly, but apparently it's happening, we are putting back privacy as the main thing to develop. We can see that with the DevCon track, finally we have a Cypherpunk and privacy track, Vitalik centering his articles and also a roadmap for this year around privacy. And also I think this is happening because some events, some people in the space strived for many years putting values at the center of what they were doing. Especially, I want to bring here the example of ETH Berlin. Guys of Department of Decentralization always wrote a manifesto for the hackathon, put values at the center, had this technological agnostic approach, so that they basically avoided this bounty hunting, young developers approaching hackathons for short-term wins and developing something that will not come out of these 3 days of development. And I think many other projects actually got inspired by ETH Berlin. Just here I put some of the one I am most involved with, because I know this actually. We have got highly inspired by their approach. At the beginning it was scary, because if you don't accept bounties and you put values at the center, of course it will be more tough to find money and to do the event, but it works. I can tell you, it works. Besides of this, we also organized Ethereum Cypherpunk Congress, and I want to bring this as a use case here to demonstrate that if you put values at the center, at the core of what you're doing, a lot of people that care about digital rights and privacy will show up and help and support. We probably organized the biggest event in privacy, and we are just a collective, a grassroots collective. We had more than 50 speakers, from whistleblower Chelsea Manning to lawyers like Pieter van Valkenburg from Coin Center, thought leaders from Scott Moore, Vitalik, Sebastian. We had great OG developers, researchers, policymakers, all united in recognizing the importance of privacy. I have only 20 minutes, so I cannot, this topic is massive, of course, it's like a huge one. Let me only say that only with privacy we can have freedom in the digital age. I think we all agree here. And privacy, we are also trying to flip in this narrative, because privacy is, especially for someone that is not building privacy, also for them, to be honest, it has a lot to do with all this gloom and doom, be in the basement, you're doing something risky, terrorism is scary, is problematic, is everyone wearing black suits, it's like not the best thing ever. But privacy at the end is not about secrecy, it's about enabling ecosystems of freedom. What does it mean? First of all, privacy is embedded in all the constitutions worldwide as a fundamental human right. But still, in regards to the digital space, we are like, oh, privacy, maybe yes, maybe not. Privacy is so normal. Privacy is something that is embedded in every democracy all over the world. And only privacy enables many different freedoms. Freedom of speech, of movement, of association, identity, political belief. So freedom of, but also freedom to. Freedom to learn and access information, freedom to care and connect, freedom to build open source, censorship-resistant software, and freedom to resist. So building up all those tools for activists, journalists, whistleblowers. In a sentence, privacy enables to stand against authoritarianism and also hold power to account. Now, this is exactly why crypto came to life. And next to the cypherpunks, also other intellectuals, I would say, thinkers, realized and foreseen what was coming. Orwell, Huxley, Russell, Herbert Marcuse, Hannah Arendt, Weber, Gramsci, many of them. But keeping the focus on cypherpunks, if more than 40 years of activism and development did not solve the issue, we still have the same problem, but with bigger threats to actually tackle. Probably we should realize that innovation and code alone won't change the world. Even if, chapeau to the cypherpunk, chapeau to all the amazing primitives that have been developed, but still it's not enough. And maybe I'm not the most credible voice to tell you this, because I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer, I was not there or here in the 90s. So I let a cryptographer with 30 years of experience in open source development, a true crypto G, to tell you this story with his own words. His name is Jaromil, by the way, and Oh, amazing, it's not working. Okay. So basically what Jaromil says is that if we failed as cypherpunks, he was there, he was squatting buildings in Amsterdam back 30 years ago. He knows like everyone in crypto since day one. And he's saying, and also he's so experienced in the open source culture, community, people. And what he says is like, if we failed, is because we didn't manage to talk with the others, to not welcome all the amazing contributions that came in to help, and we just didn't, welcome those contributions. And also, not going to make it if nowadays we still continue to think that our solution is the best, our chain is the fastest, and we are the only one. I had also another manifestation of the same point by Ying Tong. Probably the same thing will happen. Yes, fantastic. She's also a cryptographer, a researcher, and basically she says that she joined this event doing a workshop, and in this workshop, so she's like highly technical person, like mathematician, so knowledgeable. And what she says is that only by getting into the same room with lawyers, policymakers, people with skin in the game, I've got to understand how to do my research in a more impactful way. Because otherwise, I keep studying and researching and doing mathematics, but I'm not connected with the real world. So being in touch with lawyers, again, with innovators, with NGOs, made me realize that maybe a lot of my work was a bit wasted or still not pointing in the right direction. And it was very nice to hear these words by her, like as a really a big realization of, wow, to be impactful, we should be together and understand each other's perspective. Okay, going back here. Voila. So these are some of the organizations we, as Web3Privacy Now, have been working with. Or at least we had some of their speakers, founders, we got insights about what they're doing, how they're doing that. And we have got to realize that most of them don't talk to each other. And it's not only a matter of, I would say, Web3, Web2. It's also a matter of within the same really small niche, there is a lot of competition still, but the adversary is the same. And we are also not realizing that there are a lot of great projects that are trying to confront the same problems for 30 years, and still we are not taking lessons from them. We are not learning from them. We are not teaming up with them. To make this maybe more, help you see the concept in a more visual and easy to grasp way, this is what I was saying at the beginning, like efforts to restrain surveillance capitalism, authoritarianism, you name it, are scattered among different professions, perspectives, and they don't understand each other because they have different tools, they use different solutions, they have even different categories or wording to describe the same thing. And my whole point here is that imagine how much more numerous and impactful we could be if only we join forces. Because cypherpunks can build the tools, but to change power dynamics in our highly complex society and systems, these tools must be understood, spread, and used. And this is why to give our work, cypherpunk work, depth, meaning, and lasting impact, we need the intellectual and cultural grounding of thinkers, professors, academics, philosophers, sociologists. To build effective tools, resilient networks, we should team up and learn by open source communities, grassroots movements, peer-to-peer architects, activists, and many more. And to reach people, earn trust, and be truly understood, we need the skills of designers, political and social scientists, marketers, writers, journalists, and artists. And there are many people like this that are doing the same thing. I mean, they have the same mission, they have the same values. And to be unstoppable, to be truly unstoppable, our work must be protected and legitimized. And this is where lawyers, journalists, policymakers, NGOs, politicians come in. Because at the end, every institutions, I get that many people in the space are like skeptical, politicians are bad, regulators are enemies, blah, blah, blah. But at the end, it's all about people. Every institutions that we have in society is made up by people. Is made of people. And there are good people, there are less good people. If we manage to find the good people, we have a lot more, leverage. I want to bring here an example that probably is close to many of us for different reasons, both for geographical reasons, for ideological reasons. I think all of you heard about Tornado Cash, right? Raise your hands if you had. Amazing. Is it today or tomorrow that Alexei will speak? By the way, attend Alexei's speech will be amazing, they told me. It's close to our heart also because every year CryptoCanal and ETHDam bring Alexei to stage, to stage. They've been organizing protests in the past, gathering funds. And I think Tornado Cash is a great example of where solidarity and community worked well. So what happened in, long story short, September 2022, 6 individuals, backed and supported by Coinbase, sued the US Department of Treasury, challenging the constitutionality of the Tornado Cash sanctions. And after the 2 sanctions, 2 developers, Alexei and Roman, faced intense scrutiny. One was arrested and the other charged. But instead of fading into silence, the response was collective and defiant in a constructive way. And a lot of people manifested, showed up, and organizations and foundations and lawyers, such as Electric Coin, Coin Center, who supported with a lot of advocacy statements and promoting privacy-preserving development. And also from the community, we produced a lot of memes, articles, hackathons, and debates, kept this issue alive and in focus. And this is how Tornado Cash, I think, is a great symbol where, a great symbol not just of resistance, but of resilience through solidarity, through community. And this is the point I want to make. In decentralized ecosystems, where structures are decentralized and authority is distributed, solidarity is not just a value, it's a survival mechanism. And this is how the community can protect its builders, defend its ideals, and endures when systems of power push back. Let me touch briefly. So we all speak a lot about resilience, resilient networks, right? And we all have different views on how we can reach a resilient network, but we tend to use many times nature as an example, as a metaphor. And in both cases, if we are talking about dark forest or infinite garden, still the key element, I think, is diversity. Is this vibrant ecosystem. Dark forest not really, is more about being protected by the light and having, but still we are in a forest, and I think getting inspired by nature is so wise because actually nature is so much more resilient than human systems. And what is a forest? What is like this garden or forest? It's basically a complex network of living elements and non-living elements, such as soil, water, air, light, all interconnected and influencing each other, each other's growth, survival, and reproduction. And each component plays a crucial role. And what nature shows us is that the more diversity you have, the more resilient this ecosystem will be. And also very interesting to see that a forest has a very important ecosystemic function, which is basically doing many good things for the environment, such as regulating the climate, producing oxygen, protecting biodiversity, purifying water, conserving the soil, and many others. And my point here is that we should realize that we are an ecosystem, because we are made of such a different perspective, skill set, background, and the only way to change our society and our systems for the better is to not enclose ourselves into bubbles and to stop criticizing a lot each other. Because otherwise we are not going to make it, because again, we are confronting the same problems, but still we continue to invest a lot of energy and emotions into saying, my chain is better than yours, but this is crap, we already have this, this is not working, this is low. Why? And I think here I use the ego chamber, not echo chamber, because I think there is a lot a lot of problems are because of the ego that we have. You know, we are not able to recognize how much we are part of the problem, and so we point to others. So yeah, basically my point here is like, let's strive to connect, to create synergies, to understand each other. Because again, real change is about culture, is about law, and about society, if we want to be realistic. And real change is about people. This is what actually drives most of the things that we do with Web3Privacy Now. We try to facilitate understanding, solidarity, and collaboration in the space, trying to create and facilitate a formation of an ecosystem around privacy, around these founding values of crypto, to advance privacy-preserving technologies, behaviors, narratives, and knowledge. At the moment, we have more than 40 projects, internal projects. Everything is free, open source, forever. And I invite you to scan this QR code to find everything we do. If you are an organization, if you are an individual, if you are a developer, if you are a researcher, we welcome everyone because, again, we need the skillful and heart and time and energy of everyone who care about digital rights. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I really love the resource. There's the directory of 750 projects in that link, and it's one of the nicest directories that I've seen. So I wanted to also pay my respects in that regard. Congratulations. Cool.